sent the link. I have an app. I'll just explain that real quick. The reason I did the app is I was coaching an AAU team, and I'm a trainer at heart. Like even when I'm coaching, I don't really care about the games. Like all these games at this tournament is doing is helping me build my next practice and training plan. Man, we really struggle against the zone because we don't know how to flash, we don't know how to throw clock passes, blah blah blah. So what I need to do is as I'm building that plan, this is what needs to happen. I was looking to execute things. We have a screen heavy offense because I know if you can play pick and roll, it doesn't matter how tall you are, you can play anywhere. I mean, who knows? If you remove pick and roll from basketball, I don't think John Stockton can play 20 years in the league. If you just say you can't do this, I don't know if he can play. I mean, he probably makes it, but he's really good. But who knows? So I'm like, the reason it's difficult is because the reads and all that. Long story short, like since kids, let me get my train of thought for a second. So when I'm doing these plans, what I want the kids to understand is like, hey, if you can learn these skills, this is going to really excel your game. So what I have to do is make sure I can teach you these little nuances. And a good quote to go by is, because we do a lot of little things. Once you understand the importance of little things, you realize there's no such thing as little things. The angle of the screen matters. And at the beginning of the practice, bad screen, let's do it again. Bad screen, let's do it again. And then they start holding each other accountable. And then they start doing it consistently. Now, when you have bad trainers or they're playing for another team, then that coach allows them to come off screens poorly, and so they never make it a habit. So you got to really be careful about, this is going to be our culture, our standard, and this is what we're going to do to ensure that we do these little things, because that's going to result in these numbers changing dramatically. But back to the app. I never finished that point. I was training kids, and they couldn't, with the things that I was executing, pick and roll, all that stuff, they didn't have the skills to execute it. So I was like, man, I need to train these kids. So I started using my practice time to train them how to make pocket passes, how to read. Well, now when we play in the tournaments, there's no chemistry. So I'm just like, okay, we need practice to build chemistry, but we also need skill to execute. So what I started doing is I was like, hey, here's an app. You guys need to do the things within this app at home. That's your skill stuff. Throw your pocket passes against the wall, and then I can operate practices. And that's what I did with my team, is I just forced them to start doing small things at home. So when we came and started having practice, I don't have to cover all that. All right. And another thing is just combining practices. One way to make sure you're a bit more efficient with your practices is combine them. Hey, we're about to run suicides, but we also need to work on ball handling. Everybody get a ball. Dribble we can, down and back suicides. Maybe you add 3 seconds so they can make it or whatever, but now I'm doing 2 things at once. All right. So anyway, that player's assist, and it has a bunch of things like what coaches do wrong, what players do wrong, so there's a bunch of stuff in there that